Polt versus MorroW. MorroW did have map choice, and he chose Tal'Darim Altar. Now, we haven't seen Tal'Darim Altar chosen that often, but for MorroW's kind of style in ZVT, I can understand where he's going with this.
He wants that spread out style, making sure that he can, you know, be in a very advantageous endgame, I think. And make it hard for his opponent to actually kill a third, because it is rather hard, no matter what position you're in, to actually go after that third. But what is pretty accessible is the natural. Now, let's talk about the positions ever so quickly, Mr. Frodan. Top left-hand position, we have TSL Polt.
And the top right, we have Mouse Sports CC MorroW.
I would say there's no clear advantage in the positions.
Yeah.
If the positions were reversed, I would say MorroW would be terribly behind. Not terribly, but he would be behind just because the accessible natural is opened directly to his opponent's natural. So you can see the push distance is probably the closest. If Terran was over here, Zerg was in the top left-hand corner. You just push out to this area and you're good to go. But it's the opposite way, and he has to kind of push across this big open area where there are hexagonal figures. Not really the best place for Terran to be out in the middle of. I mean, Zerg can easily just swarm around, get great positions, and overrun this town tonight.
You know, I always thought the hexagons looked like Florida, like over on the right hand.
Let me check it out.
A little bit, just a little bit stretched.
Looks like a Space Invader if you tilt your head to the right.
I'm tilting the camera to the right.
Here
Not
you
really.
Shut up.
Maybe. But we see the bunker go up here
sorry.
from MorroW, trying to, from Polt, trying to just be invasive and force some drones being pulled off. And wow, pretty good control thus far from Polt, trying to evade any kind of drone surround. The second Marine also has now entered into the fray, and you'd be surprised how much damage 2 Marines can do if that's unintended. But does that bunker finish? It does.
Doesn't matter though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just gonna, as you said, be really annoying. It's gonna be very intrusive. And
yeah, I'm surprised he didn't actually let it just kind of be there to matter block the minerals. It'd be really
I would have.
I guess he wants the mineral back immediately as he's making his Hellions. But
Hellions and his commands. Yeah, actually, that's absolutely right. Good call, Frodan.
Thank you.
Everything's all standard on Tal'Darim Altar right now.
We had this weird moment where we locked eyes, and he was like, "Good call, Frodan." And I was like, "Aw." And then it was just like one of those moments where it's like we want to say so much more, but
I know.
because we made eye contact, we don't need to.
Frodan, you're coming along so well.
Thank you, Andre. It's just
your analysis.
It's such a bromance right now.
I know. I love you.
Aw. But we only know each other for a few months, and you say love. You're no better than the 12-year-old girls on Facebook. Oh my God, I think I love him. It's like, how could he do this to me? I loved him. He loved me. He said he loved me. I'm like, dude, he took you on a date. His parents drove you, and all he bought you was a Twix bar. It's like, you don't love him, and he doesn't love you. But you know what I do love is this good control from Polt, as he is.
By the way, I have no clue what you just said right there, but I agree with everything you just said.
I was saying that people throw around the term love too easily.
But you threw in Twix bars right there, and you just got me all hot and bothered.
Twix bars like a pair of Hellions. They always come in twos. As you can see, the Hellions are kiting very nice. Look at that. And MorroW has to make a little bit more if he wants to hold off these Hellions, as Polt's been able to just really keep MorroW from being able to drone up very nicely. As you can see, MorroW finally starting to do some things like set up his SimCity. As you can see, more Hellions poking out at the natural. Polt being everywhere at once, pulling MorroW's attention to and fro.
These Hellions just won't die. Well, there they go.
These Hellions won't just... but I mean, he's doing a good enough job, and the Hellions are still poking at the natural, just being a nuisance. MorroW's doing a pretty decent well. His macro hatchery is blocking a lot of the pathways, and you can see that MorroW is... He's still unfazed by these Hellions. He's presuming as if everything's normal. You can see that he was droning, getting up his Evo chambers and his hatchery. And you can just tell that he's staying calm, which I really like right now.
Let's go ahead and check the income tab really quickly. 38 to 29. Looks like both these players are pretty close. I wouldn't say anybody has actually, they're exactly even in terms of harvesters, if I do my math correctly. But here we go. Oh, the first queen gets roasted. Poor girl. My God.
That is that's an unfortunate ending, especially because MorroW would like that queen to spread creep as well. But you know, you must move on. You must move on. And MorroW is going for double upgrades and getting speed. Back at home, Polt's been doing things, you know, very systematically. He's only on one engineering bay this time, so he can get a quicker starport out. And just generally, Polt's just playing pretty solid TVZ. Very standard and nothing too out of the ordinary.
Well, he's actually readying up for some sort of huge push. You don't normally get the tech labs on your factory this early if you're not doing a push like this. So we can expect that ever so soon. It won't be any particular add-on on the starport. That won't we normally see a reactor on there. That won't happen just because of the gas consumption. He's going to stick on 3 gas for a while and switch over to 4 gas as he starts to stabilize and pump out mass units once he gets the SEV count necessary.
Okay. Well, I mean, fair enough. Because I was surprised because you're saying he's going for a huge push, but he doesn't even have siege mode started yet. Oh, okay. He's starting just now, so.
Well, you don't normally get siege mode until that's the countdown timer. 80 seconds.
Okay,
and he will push out probably in 40 or 50. And that way it's streamlined. Like, all my investment in this early game stage has been towards units. And then right before I'm about to hit, all of my upgrades finish at the same time. And I'm really ready to push out on my opponent.
Yeah, the tank push, the Marine tank push standard time from Polt would just be very devastating. We've seen it a little bit earlier in the past, but yeah, he's just being very forthcoming because he made a little bit more Hellions this time around to try to poke at Zerg. And that's kind of why I was taken aback by, because last time we saw him make a lot of Hellions, he was trying to distract while getting a 3rd base. So Polt changing up ever so slightly, but still very, very deceptive for MorroW, as he is going for the same thing he did in game number 1, mutiling Baneling. Or does he even have a Baneling nest? No, he doesn't actually. So he's still on mutiling. Interesting.
I think mutiling is a lot better on this map. Odyssey has all of these like small little chokes, so you have to do stuff like that. But as we said, the hexagonal figure that's being covered up by this creep, that'll be pivotal. Now, a Zergling run-by will try to get in here, but of course these Marines are going to back all those units out. Wow, Polt taking a lot of position really fast.
Really
He's so
easily.
bold with this.
The Zerglings also, I mean, they're still working on this wall, but finally being pressured off. And now you can see that Polt is going into the natural, but at the same time, he's on creep, and it's very easy for Zerglings to get flanked. That is why he's got Marines in position. Polt, so comprehensive in his approach to this push, and is doing a lot of damage. Zergling trying to go for an attack from all different directions and trying to target down the tanks. MorroW, is it going to be enough? No, 1 tank barely survives with 1 HP. And 3 tanks is way better than 2, adding a 50% more power. And you can see Polt is now inside the natural, doing lots of damage to the economy of Zerg.
Round 2 Zerglings, but what's so unfortunate is that 2-2 was cleaned up as well. The evolution chamber's gone off the table, and this is so catastrophic for MorroW. The Zergling run by into the main, or the natural, was wrong. GG gets called out. Polt will take it 2-0. But I want to emphasize that you really cannot be trying to counterattack your opponent. You mentioned it in the, well, right before the big engagement actually happened, but he went for the supply depots. Not sure why he did that, but that was the critical problem that we saw in that game. And he just let his opponent get too much position, hugged up against the side, and when Marines only have to worry about 270 degrees rather than 360 degrees, it empowers them a lot more. Zerglings are a lot weaker, and from there, Polt was able to take the game very nicely.
Absolutely. So Polt takes the series 2-0 and moves up in the standings accordingly. MorroW, he did beat General last week, but falls to the Korean Terran, as Polt's TVZ shows once again why he is considered one of the top Terrans in the world. Yeah. We want to thank the sponsor of that game, Epson, for providing, again, the projectors for NASL Season 3, as they've been doing much, not only for us at the studio, but also the Sunday Showdowns. Check them out at epson.com. We'll be back after a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. More action from Division 1 here at NASL Season 3 is coming up next.